Hey everyone, it's Johnny from Vertesia. I wanted to make a video to show something that was even quite surprising to me, which was the idea that AI agents that are fundamentally run by large language models can actually handle quantitative tasks and things like data analysis, which opens up a whole new list of use cases that this technology can be used for. So here's what we're going to do in the demo today. We have a data set with a bunch of customer records. It's got information in it, some of which is relevant to the task, some of which is just additional information. So what's the point of the additional information, you might ask? It is to provide extra noise to make the task a little more difficult for the AI agent. And the task that we're asking it to do is to give us a detailed analysis of the customer data we're providing and generate some key insights and identify some patterns and metrics that will be useful to marketers. So here's the Excel file that we're going to be analyzing. You can see it is a very large file. It's got 65,000 rows. And if we scroll down, you'll see there's a ton of data here. So we're going to see how the AI agent does at analyzing this amount of information. So now we're hopping over to Vertesia's AI Studio. Let's look at the agent I built. So the first screen you'll see when you click into this agent is the configuration screen. Here's where you can select the model. You can choose any model that you have hooked up to the current provider. And you can connect to multiple providers, which is hugely beneficial because models are going to be good at different things. So in this instance, we're going to use Claude for Opus because in order to analyze this file, the agent will need to write code. And I know that Claude 4 is great at writing code. So now let's jump over to the prompts tab. And so this is where you're going to actually instruct the model on what you want it to do. You'll notice there's a system prompt and a user prompt. So this helps give the agent and the AI service we're building additional context. And if we click on this system prompt, we're going to see the general guidance that we're giving this AI agent. You're going to see that it's giving it a role. We've got some very broad guidelines. And essentially this is explaining to the agent how to reason through and solve the problems or the tasks that we're going to give it. And notice that in the prompt library, I have these agent basics saved so I can use them from agent to agent. Now clicking on the user task, this prompt is going to show the detailed instructions that we're giving this agent. And in this prompt, we are essentially giving the agent the same instructions we would give to a human if we were asking a human to do this report for us. And since in our platform, all the heavy lifting is really taken care of for you, building out an AI service of any type, whether it's an agent or a simple interaction, really comes down to the instructions that you're giving to the model, as the rest is really taken care of for you. Now, before we do anything with this agent, we need to test it. So we're going to hop over to our agent runner, and this is where you can run tests to validate the use cases you're building and ensure they're functioning as expected before deploying anything to production. All right, so how do we test this agent out? Well, it's as simple as selecting it from a dropdown and then looking over the rest of the configuration. You'll notice I did not save it, so the Claude 4 model I need to select manually. And then we come down here and we select the file that we want to analyze. And just like that, we launch the agent. Now, everything that this agent does, the plan it makes for itself, the actions it takes, the tools it uses, is fully auditable. The platform's completely transparent, so you can see what the agent's doing in real time, which is extremely valuable, not just if someone has a question about why an agent did something, but when you're building these out. It's super, super helpful to see what the agents are doing at every step so you can continue to refine them until the agent's doing exactly what you want. So let's let the agent do its work and we will check back when it's done. Okay, so the agent's done, and I want to show you something that completely blew my mind when I was digging through the agent's audit trail. To look at what it's doing when it's analyzing the spreadsheet, you can see that it's actually writing a ton of code to analyze this spreadsheet. So what I want to do to make this a little more readable is grab all this code, and then I'm going to paste it into an IDE so that it's a little easier to read. So let's go ahead and jump over to Visual Studio Code, and here we go. We'll paste it. And that's just incredible. So you can see it wrote all this code just as if you had given it to a human and asked them to write code to analyze the file. So, wow. Now, this is only going to be impressive if it actually did this accurately. So that's going to be really the last part of this video, is I want to look at the analysis that the agent did and compare that to the actual file and make sure that it didn't just give us a bunch of gibberish. So we downloaded it and put it in Word to make it a little more readable, and gave us a nice executive summary. Overall, behavioral trends. It broke out the customers into segments, looked at purchase patterns among loyalty members. So everything we asked it to do, and then a little more even. And on top of that, it gives us recommendations. So overall, this did an amazing job at giving us the behavioral analysis that we wanted for this file that had all of our customer data in it. So the next thing I want to do is take a specific data point, and I thought this one would be interesting if we look at a specific region and the average purchases as well as the percentage of the customer base, because that's going to be multi-dimensional in how it has to get that information. So let's hop over to the Excel file, and the first thing we'll need to do is filter this file to just the Eastern region. And then we'll see how many it found. So 19,798 was the customers in the East, and that is, according to my calculator, 30.2%, which is exactly what the agent found. So for the first data point, we've confirmed that it is accurate, and now I want to look at the average purchase amount. So let's look, and it's 9,611. So that, again, is exactly what was given to us by the agent. And this really confirms, at least in this instance, that while large language models are not great at math by themselves, the code that they are great at writing allows them to complete quantitative tasks that typically are not well suited for these models. And that's it for today. If you have a use case you want to see us tackle, feel free to drop it in the comments below. And if you want to set up a custom demo, visit us on our website at vertesiahq.com.